Good day, Kavibal, and welcome to our Speakers Demo Reel webinar series. For the demo teaching today, the topic will be on the use of gamification in teaching English. Before we begin, take note of the following reminders. We will be posting the Zoom link in the comment section before our demo teaching, and the first 5 participants to join the Zoom meeting will be allowed to have close interaction with the speaker during the session and have an open forum after the demo teaching. The first 5 participants will serve as the students for the speaker's demo reel. For those who will be chosen, the speaker may ask you to share or turn on your videos or not, but make sure microphones are turned off until asked to turn on.
Do you enjoy learning with Vibal? Make your experience even more exciting by becoming a Vibal Group fan. Exclusive perks await fan subscribers. Get access to exclusive webinars. Enjoy free teaching resources. Check out exclusive content. Get discounts on Vibal products. All of these for only 55 pesos a month. Exciting, right? Subscribe as a fan now. Here's how. Visit, click, follow. First, visit Vibal Group's Facebook page. Then click Become a Supporter to purchase a monthly subscription. Lastly, follow the prompts that appear on your screen. But don't confuse this for top fan. Nuh-uh, it's a different thing. You need to follow the easy steps. Visit, click, follow. Be a Vibal Group fan and enjoy exciting perks today.
Again, for those who will be chosen, the speaker may ask you to share your videos or not, but make sure microphones are turned off until asked to turn on. Good day again, Kavibal, and welcome to our Speakers Demo Reel webinar series. For the discussion today, the topic will be on the use of gamification in teaching English. Before we begin, take note of the following reminders. Make sure you are registered to the webinar to have your e-certificate of participation. Visit certificate.vibalgroup.com to generate your proof of attendance. Place your questions on the comment box allotted during the session and they will be addressed by our speaker later on. Share the video using hashtag LearnAs1PH as our official hashtag to our Vibal webinars. Experience learning, Kavibal! And now, to proceed with our webinar this afternoon, it is my pleasure to introduce to you our distinguished speaker today. Mr. Carlos A. Buraga graduated cum laude from Isabela State University, Cabagan, with a degree of Bachelor of Secondary Education major in English. He finished his master's degree in education at University of Makati. In 2018, he pursued his PhD in English language teaching at Metropolitan College. Currently, he is working on his dissertation for his Educational and Management at University of Makati. He has been teaching for 9 years in Makati High School as an English teacher. He believes that our dreams do come true if we have the courage to pursue them. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome Mr. Carlos A. Buraga.
Thank you so much for the generous introduction, Ms. Jillian. Good afternoon, Kavibal. Good afternoon, teachers and viewers. Thank you again, Vibal, for this opportunity to be your speaker for today. Before I start my presentation, let me just read the following. Good afternoon to my superintendent, Mom Carlene Cedilia. Good afternoon also to my school principal, Mr. Felix Bunagan, and to Mom Giselle Laud, assistant principal for the senior high school in Makati High School. So I will be talking about the use of gamification in teaching English for today. Actually, this is not just applied or applicable in teaching English, but all subject areas, right? So the second quarter has just started, and I know that teachers are very busy preparing for lesson plans and materials to be used in teaching, right? The first quarter was very challenging, especially on the delivery of curriculum and instruction to be able to develop the appropriate learning competencies among our learners. In the beginning of the first quarter, I have a lot of observation, and I have observed that a lot of students do not attend in online class, do not submit performance tests and written works, and that would greatly affect their academic performance. And so this motivated me to apply, why not apply gamification approach in my class. This gamification actually was first introduced by Mr. Pakpako, one of the outstanding teachers in Makati, in his action research about gamification. So I thought of applying this approach in my class, and surprisingly, at the end of the first quarter, I've noticed a lot of changes, especially in terms of their attendance, submission of classwork, um, summative test, alright, and so forth. Yung mga students na hindi nakakapag-attend ng online class before, ngayon nakakapag-attend na sila ng online class, right? Yung mga hindi nakakapag-recite during class discussion, ngayon nakakapagsalita na. Yung mga hindi nakapagpasa ng mga performance test, ngayon nakapagpasa na. So these these were the changes actually na observed ko when I used gamification as a teaching approach in English. Gaya ng sabi ko kanina, this is not just applicable in English. This can be applied in all learning areas. All right. And that makes me happy. Actually, I feel so happy that gradually nakikita ko yung progress sa mga students ko with the use of gamification as a teaching approach. Of course, accompanied with other teaching strategies that I employ in my class. All right, so this will be the outline of our presentation for today. I will start. My presentation will actually have two parts. Right, the first part will be I will discuss first what gamification is. All right, how I designed my gamification and how I apply that in my class, and later on I will be showing a sample flow of my online how I conduct online class. All right. I will also, if you have questions later on, you can post that in the on the comment box below, all right? And I will be addressing those later after the um, the presentation. And of course, I will have my conclusion. All right, before I start, I would like to ask this question. Maybe you can type your answers on the comment box, all right? So our discussion today becomes, more interactive. Okay, question. We have observed ang dami natin nakikita ng mga students na naglalaro ng they're very they get addicted to playing mobile games, especially Mobile Legends. All right. What's with Mobile Legend or any mobile games, right? That students are so hooked with. Okay? Kaya nasabi, we can see a lot of students everywhere playing mobile games. Ano kayang meron sa Mobile Legend na nahuhook yung mga students? All right, maybe I can present some of the answers, based on the interviews, based on observations, and based on the research that Mr. Pakpako, one of the teachers in Makati, in his research about gamification. All right, the first one is um, gaming is a form of what? It's a form of relaxation. All right, not only gaming on mobile fantastic these days, but there are also some great games around to help us get relaxed. And maybe these students wanted to get relaxed, and that becomes what? A form of relaxation. All right, the next reason is that um I'm actually looking at the comment section na kung tinitingnan ko kung may mga nako-comments on why students get hooked with Mobile Legends. All right, from Mr. Christian Arguelles, sabi niya they get to show that they are great in something. All right, that's correct, sir. All right, the next is that students have chance to play with their friends and classmates, right? So it becomes more enjoyable, right? And the last reason is that sabi ni Sir Tin, Miss Tin Canuto, because they can feel greater because of the rankings, exactly. And that will be the third reason, right? The students um, are able to increase their ranked, right? Or they get to compete with their classmates or friends. It is like this. Um, I believe that we adults have our discount cards, or maybe we have our reward cards, diba? And what's with these reward cards or discount cards na we adults are so hooked with, diba? Meron tayong mga reward cards in our wallet. What do you have those? Okay, maybe we want to earn points. Okay, we want to you know get membership benefits, and we want to get discounts. Okay, same thing with the students. Okay, these are the reasons why students get hooked with playing Mobile Legends. So I thought of using this idea in my class to increase my students' motivation and engagement. All right, I will be showing you later on how I utilize gamification approach in my class. Um, why did maybe you are asking bakit ko naisipang gamitin yung gamification in my class? All right, there are actually a lot of reasons, and these reasons are based on experience. These reasons are based on observation and are supported with the research study of my colleague in Makati, Mr. Pakpako, in his research study about gamification. Okay, the first reason is that my students have low motivation and engagement towards the activities that I give. Right? So I began to ask myself, how can I promote students' engagement and motivation to learn? Some students are engaged, yes, some students are motivated, some students are excited to learn, but there are also students who get what? Who get distracted, right? Who get disinterested and who get reluctant to engage. So my first reason why I thought of using gamification in my class. Second reason is that my students have limited participation in class discussion. All right, this is so true. Ang nangyari kasi madalas ay, I know that this is not just about my experience, but also I believe that you also experience this. Nangyayari, parang tanong ko, sagot ko, right? Even if we use the art of questioning, okay, only a few students participate by volunteering answers, what else, asking questions or contributing to discussions. Okay, my goal is to create an environment in which all of my students have the opportunity to learn. Gusto ko lahat ng mga estudyante ko may matututunan, all right, at the end of the lesson or at the end of the topic that that is being discussed. Okay, and I needed to you know I needed to take an extra step to encourage, especially those quiet students, to speak up, okay, to improve to develop their self confidence as well. Third reason is that my students have low scores in summative tests. Mababa yung kanilang scores sa summative tests. So that is why I also thought of using gamification as an approach. Later on, I'll be showing you how do these students improve their scores in summative test. Fourth one is that my students do not attend frequently in my online class. Okay, um, our education setup in the new normal is very challenging. One of the possible reasons is um, on why students do not frequently attend in online class is maybe these students are um, lacking of motivation. All right, they are not motivated to maybe to attend your class or my class. It's something like this. So this is also one of the reasons why I thought of using gamification. Fifth one is my students have unorganized outputs. Right, di ba when we give performance tests to our students, minsan or madalas ang nangyayari that when they submit their output, hindi siya maayos. Okay? My students had to improve their organizational skill. And the last reason is that my students could not finish the assigned performance test. Ang nangyari kasi when they are given performance test, they just they could not finish answering all of the items or all of the questions, or they just pick items that they want to answer and leave those items that they find difficult with, or maybe not interesting on their part. Okay, and this also happens hindi lang sa mga nag-attend ng online class, but those students also under modular, when they submit based on experience, when they submit their outputs, anong nangyari, kulang-kulang yung sinasabit nila. All right? And that is why I decided to try this gamification. Okay? I got interested with this approach. Gaya ng sabi ko kanina, when teacher Pakpako introduced this gamification in his action research. And so I tried to utilize this in my class. All right, so what is gamification? Gamification is defined as an approach, okay, that employs features of the game, such as elements, frameworks, principles, mechanics, metaphors, aesthetics, and thinking into non-game context. All right, so gamification is not like what I've said earlier. This is not actually just applied in or applicable in English, but all learning areas. All right, it is an approach wherein teacher uses various activities and rewards to promote student engagement. Okay, gaya ng sabi ko earlier, students are so hooked with playing mobile games, because of this. Okay, all right, but let us not be confused on the difference between uh, gamification and game-based learning. All right, I highlighted number two items here: gamification versus game-based learning. Okay, game-based learning allows students to learn new concepts, and practice their skills in a risk-free environment. Okay, their progress in a game is directly related to their understanding of the subject. Okay, while gamification adds game mechanics to the non-game context and promotes desired learning outcomes using features of rewards, what else, recognition, badges, leaderboards, incentives. All right, in other words, um, to make it short, gamification is turning the learning process as a whole into a game, while game-based learning is using a game as part of the learning process. All right, I'll be showing you later on how I use gamification as a teaching approach, and I'll also be using game-based learning in introducing a topic or the lesson. So what are the elements? What are the elements of the game, that you can integrate in your online class? These are the different elements. Okay, we actually have different a lot of elements, but these are the elements that I've chose. Okay, that I've chosen to include in my gamification. We have points, badges, we have the leaderboard, and the rewards. Okay, how does this work? Points. Okay, the first element is I need to just discuss this gamification and how I do this in my class. All right, para makaroon din tayo ng ay, paano ba ginagawa yung gamification, and how do I apply this in my online class. Right. So the first element is the points, which is the numeric accumulation of the students based on the activities given. Okay. So anong components? Which components do I have to give points? Pwedeng kung hindi nag-attend yung mga students natin in our online class, pwedeng attendance, di ba? Kung hindi nagre-recite, pwedeng recitation, quizzes or summative test, and performance test. How many points? Question. How many points to give? All right. Later on, I will discuss. So everyone will start at a the same level. Okay. I will show later on how do I give points. The second element is the badges. Okay, badges are representations from their achievements. So since online class tayo, I give my students virtual badges. I designed a virtual badges that I give to my students, right? Every time napapasa nila, all right, yung level. All right, so as teacher, we can also create our own badges, okay, to make it more creative and personalized. I made my own badge, and I'll show you in the next slides. Leaderboard. This includes the list of students and their rank. Okay, parang ang leaderboard ay class record natin. You know, ito yung katumbas ng ating class record. So they have their names, their scores, their rank, and what category they are in. Okay, I'll be showing you later also kung paano ko ginagawa yung leaderboard and also the rewards. Okay, the rewards, which is the system to motivate the students as they reach certain number of points every quarter. Okay, eto na ngayon yung aking gamification. All right. Grade 10, lessons in grade 10 in English, specifically in literature, is more on, it's more on gods and goddesses, right? So I call this gamification as the gods of Olympus. All right. As you can see, there are 8 levels. Ito just based on how based on me. Okay. If you want to have your own gamification, also it's up to you on how you want to design it. Okay. So as you can see, there are 8 levels. Okay, bawat level may katumbas na god or goddesses. Okay, in ancient Greece, there existed a classical scheme of actually we have 12 Olympians. Okay, so I just picked yung parang top 8. Okay, the gods and goddesses that were worshipped as you know as per the classical scheme are, we have the yung highest natin dito, we have the Zeus, Hera, Poseidon, Hermes, Eris, Demeter, Hephaestus, and Aphrodite. Okay? So ang gagawin ng mga estudyante, all students will start at or will begin sa level 1. So they are all Aphrodites. Okay, regardless kung ano man yung gen, kung babae, mapababae man o mapalalaki, they will all start sa level 1 at yun yung Aphrodite. So their goal is, before the quarter ends, they should have reached yung highest level, which is level 8, okay, to become Zeus. The question is, maybe you're asking, how can they reach the maximum level? Paano sila makakapunta doon sa level 8? How can they become Zeus? Okay? Diyan na papasok yung ating points system. Okay? So, level 1, Aphrodite, god of love and beauty. Okay. Sorry, I just really need to show this. Okay, para kasi I use this approach in my class para kahit paano maybe you can also use this, right, in your online class while using other strategies. Okay, Aphrodite, the god of love and beauty, is the first level, so the students need to get at least 0 to 299 points. So they will start, lahat ng mga estudyante magsisimula sa 0. Okay, so pag narating nila yung 299 points, pag lumagpas sila ng 299 points, they will move into the next level. Okay? At they will automatically be given what? 75% in their individual graded recitation. Okay, later on I will show you on how to do this, on how do these students gain points. And if at the end of the quarter the student just reached 299 points, he or she will be given this badge. Itong badge ito, ginawa ko siya. Naghanap ako ng mga bagay na nagsisimbolize sa different gods and goddesses, and I made this badge. All right, maybe you can also make your own. Okay, and it's okay to be to be creative and para mas personalize yung ating binibigay na badges. Okay? But of course, yung mga bata ayaw nilang magkaroon ng 75% individual graded recitations. Ang gagawin nila, mag-exert sila ng effort para makapunta sa next level. Alright? They wanted to get more. Okay? Diyan papasok yung ating second level, which is Hephaestus, the god of fire. So the student needs to get at least 300 to 599 points, okay, para makoroon ng 80% individual graded recitation at the end of the quarter. Okay? And they will be given this badge. Okay. So pag nakarating ng fast level 2 yung student, magkakaroon siya ng dalawang badges. Ito at saka yung badge na present ko kanina na. Okay? This one. Right? Padagdag siya ng padagdag. And the third level will be Hermes, god of transitions and boundaries. So same, okay. The students need to get at least 600 to 899 points, and they will automatically be given 83% graded recitation. Okay, depende sa inyo kung ilang points yung gagawin nyo, kung bibigyan sa mga students. All right, and they will be given this badge. And the fourth level will be Eris, God of War. The student needs to get at least 900 to 1,199 points, and they will automatically be given 86% individual graded presentation, and they will be given this badge, right, that I made. And the next level will be Demeter, okay, God of the harvest. The student needs to get at least 1,200 to 1,499 points, okay, to automatically be given 89% graded recitation. Bakit nag-focus ako sa recitation? Because I want my students, to participate in my class discussion. Okay, and not only that, I will also want to improve their speaking skill, their self-confidence, and they'll be given this badge. And the next one will be Poseidon, god of the sea. The student needs to get 1,500 to 1,799 points to be given 92 in their recitation and be given this badge. Okay, and the next level will be Era, god of marriage and family. The student needs to accumulate at least 2,099 points to be given 95% in their individual graded recitation and be given this badge. And the last one, this is the highest level, all right? The god of thunder and sky. The student needs to get at least 2,100 to 2,399 points to be given 98% in their graded recitation and be given this badge. All right. So pag nakarating yung estudyante ng level 8, magkakaroon siya ng 8 badges. All right? Nakuha niya lahat yung 8 at the end of the quarter. All right? Okay. So how do students gain points para maka-move from level 1 pataas? Okay? So the student needs to what? Ito yung mga aking parang scoring points. Okay? The student needs to what? Attend online session. If the student attended online session, he or she will be given +5. Okay? So it becomes a motivation for them to attend online class. All right. If the student answered a question correctly during discussion, especially those complex questions or higher order thinking skills, they'll be given +20. Okay. So yung mga student na maybe hindi nagpa-participate during class discussion, ma-engganyo or mamomotivate para motivate to speak up, right? To recite during class discussion. And the third one will be if the student submitted a performance test on time. We give performance test, they'll be given +25. Okay? If the student had perfect attendance monthly, okay, the student will be given additional 50 points. Okay, and if the student got perfect summative test score, he or she will be given 20 points. If the student got a passing summative test score, for example, if you gave 20 item summative test, kung nakuha yung 75%, he or she will be given plus points, plus 10. Okay? So ito yung mga components, on how or ways on how students gain points para makamove sila from one level to the other. This one is just for the whole quarter. Okay? Okay. Gaya ng mga games, 'di ba? The player also loses points, right? So I also told them that they can lose points if they will do the following. All right. If the student gets absent without official leave or without giving notice to the teacher, he will be deducted what? How many points? 5 points. Okay. If from his current score or points. Okay. Same thing when a student submitted a performance test late, he will be deducted 10 points. Or if he did not submit performance test, he will get less 30 from his current score. Okay. And when a student gets 5 and below in summative test, he will get a deduction of 10 points, right? Or if the student made unnecessary remarks or comments during class discussions, all right, he will be given a deduction of 20 points. Okay. And when he cheated or plagiarized, he would get less 50. Because when students submit performance test, for example, if you ask them to write an essay, di ba, ano yung normally ginagawa ng mga bata? They would just look into the internet and they will just copy and paste, kung ano yung mga in topic na pinagawa natin, all right? So this will also remind them na na bawal sila mangopya ng hindi nila sariling gawa. So they become what? They become more how do you call it? Responsible, ba? Nagiging responsible sila. Aside from motivating them, aside from engaging them, in our class, they also become responsible students. Na dapat iwasan natin yung mag-cheat, na dapat iwasan natin yung mag-plagiarize. That will be their way of thinking. All right? So yun yung how students gain points and how they lose points. So these are the badges that I designed. All right, I need to go fast because I still need to proceed with my demonstration. Okay, since these are great badges that I designed. Okay, inspired with the gods and goddesses of Olympus. Kasi yung literature lesson in grade 10, naka it's naka-focus siya sa gods and goddesses. All right? You can also make your own based on based on the grade level that you are handling, or pag nagsisimula pa lang tayo, you can make use of a star badge. Gagawa ka ng star. Okay? You can give that to your student when they move from one level to the next level. All right? And okay, ito yung leaderboard na sinasabi ko kanina. As this is just a class record actually. Nandito yung names ng mga students. Okay, in the first column you can see the names. In the second column you can see the points that they accumulated. Itong pinapresent ko for the whole quarter na. Okay? And their rank, okay, their category. Yung kanina kung level 1 until level 8. Okay, I asked my students, as you can see, yung mga names nila, these are actually not their real names. Okay, so I asked my students to have their codes or screen names, instead of their real names. Bakit? So because I post updates every week. Weekly yung ina-update ko sila kung ilang points na yung na-gather nila, kung anong rank na sila, kung anong category na sila they are in. Okay? Para kasi before I start my class, I post first yung leaderboard, and nakikita nila doon siyempre yung if you write their real name, rank 1 na si or pinaka lowest si, for example, si J. Okay? Ngayon, the reason why I asked them to give me their codes or their screen names ay para may element of surprise. Okay, so the students will begin to question themselves na sino kaya si Candy Crush? kasi siya yung number one, right? Or maybe yung mga nasa pinakamababang rank, sino kaya si, for example, sino kaya si Afterlife, right? Siya yung nakakuha ng lowest point. Ganun. Okay, so yung ganun yung ginagawa ko. So I update them weekly kung ano yun, kung ilang points na nakuha nila, kung anong rank sila, kung anong category na sila. And this is actually very challenging, updating them weekly. All right. In the leaderboard, as you know, as teachers, we can also easily identify who are those students na alanganin. Okay? Kasi walang pinapasang, for example, requirements, kung konti lang yung scores, all right? It's actually like we are computing the grades of the students. Okay, I have a question. Maybe you are asking now, baka mamaya yung mga estudyante pasa lang sila ng pasa. Okay? Para maka-reach sa highest category. Okay, we should also, as teacher, we should also emphasize na dapat yung mga pinapasa nila, syempre, with quality pa din. Okay? Nakabase pa din tayo dun sa content na ng output nila. Okay? Then the next quarter, I will be asking my students again to give me to send me new codes or screen names. Okay? Kasi I've posted this one already after nung first quarter, pinakita ko na to sa mga bata. And ito nga, Candy Crush. Okay, that's the code name. Accumulated 2,300 points. Ito at the end of the first quarter. Okay, that student ranked one and nakakuha siya ng 8 badges. Okay, under Zeus category. All right. Oh, okay. And rewards can be in the form of giving certificates or incentives. Okay. Ang certificates na ginagawa ko every month, meron kaming every month I conduct an awarding ceremony. Okay? So in a PowerPoint presentation every month, naka-flash yung names nila kung sino yung may perfect attendance. So since virtual certificate, right? Later on pag face to face, I need to to print certificates and be these certificates will be given to the students who got perfect attendance for the whole month, right? And perfect those students who got perfect submission of classwork and so forth, okay, etc. And this actually motivates them, okay, na mag-attend ng class, na mag-submit ng ng classwork para next month makikita nila yung names nila, lalo na yung mga hindi nagsasabi, makikita nila yung names na naka-flash sa PowerPoint. So they become more, they will be motivated. Okay? And I also give incentives, right, at the end of the quarter, or ang incentive ginagawa ko, it's actually every quarter. Okay? Kung sino yung nakakuha ng pinaka-highest level, okay, naka-reach ng maximum points na 2,399 will be given load allowance na kailangan natin ngayon sa online class, right? So pag may budget si teacher, of course, right? Question. Maybe iniisip natin na maybe some of the students will just accomplish their test because of the rewards. Okay? Dahil meron tayong binibigay na certificates, na may binibigay tayong incentives, doon lang magfo-focus yung mga bata. Alright, yes, that's true. That will be their initial response. That will be the initial response of the students. But as we go along the way, we teachers should introduce to them the value of responsibility, right, and development of their behavior, etc. Diba kailangan we need to give emphasis on on the value of responsibility. Na hindi lang dapat na hindi lang porke mayroong certificates or incentive, yun lang yung focus nila. All right, so that's how I do gamification in my class. All right. So this is what I'll be showing you is how I conduct online class in English 10. All right, this one is quarter one, module 6. This is one is the last lesson. Okay, learning from one's experience. Okay, let me see first the students. Okay. All right. So okay. Okay. Um my lesson is all about my topic is all about the elements of a short story. Okay. So I begin with good afternoon class. I hope everyone's doing well today. All right, today we'll be discussing our lesson in module 6, which is all about the elements of short story. Okay. I'm sorry, like what I've said earlier, before I start my lesson, I flash first yung leaderboard. Okay, yung current standing, yung current points, their rank, and kung anong level sila uh, nandoon. Okay? Then after that, I present the objective of the lesson. So after going through this module, okay, you are expected to appraise the unity of setting, characterization, and plot in a material viewed or text read. And also you are expected to evaluate and make judgments about a range of text using a set of criteria. All right, I've already assigned your pretest last time in our online platform. Okay, I've given you a 10-item multiple choice, and I've already checked that. And we will, if there are clarifications maybe or questions about the pretest, we can answer those as we go through our lesson for today. Okay, in lesson 5, so we have students Marian, we have Charmaine, we have Sir Raphael, um, Sir Joseph. Okay, so in lesson 5, you were taught how to evaluate a spoken text. Let us refresh our minds, of what you have learned in the previous lesson by doing this simple recall activity. Okay, so you just have to tell me the nonverbal or verbal skill that is described in each item. All right, so let's begin with Marion. Could you please read the direction?
Choose the correct answer from the box below that best describes each sentence.
Very good. All right. So let us answer. Okay, okay, now I want you to answer the first question, Marion. So you have here 5 choices. All right. You have body language, elocution, eye contact, poise, and enthusiasm. Okay. I want you to answer. Can you please uh, give me the first answer? Oh,
So, number one, the movements of the speakers seem vivid and help the audience visualize. So, the answer would be body language.
very good, Marion. The answer is body language. All right. Now, so sorry for I just want to kanina yung lesson ko kanina yung in-introduce ko kanina about gamification. All right. Now, pwede na nating i-apply yung how students gain points here. Okay, so you can add, as teacher, you can add additional questions about, for example, about the items being asked. For example, this question is, you'll be given this question if you answer, you'll be given a 10 points if you answer this question correctly. Okay, Can you give me an example of body language and its meaning? Raphael, can you please give me an example of body language and its meaning? Raphael, you may switch on your camera or your microphone. Okay, Joseph, could you please give me an example of body language and its meaning?
Voice, voice, voice. Voice can be our body language, and uh, the voice and voice can be our can consider the body language voice, and voice is my answer.
All right. If the student answered correctly, okay, you just take notes. Okay, okay, you got additional 10 points. So at the end of para sa next week presentation of sa leaderboard, makikita nila dun yung scores nila. All right. And what about the second? I'm sorry. What about the second question? What about the second question? Where are my students? Raphael, can you please read and answer the second question? Okay, let's go back to Marian. I only have two students here.
So, number two, the speaker displays relaxed, self confidence, secure about self with no mistakes. The answer, I think, would be poise.
Okay, the answer is poise. Very good, Marian. You answered the question correctly. All right, so it's something like that. Okay, and again, same like the first item, you may ask additional questions. Okay, for the students to gain points. Okay, and uh, uh, and yeah, okay. So at the end of the this activity, the students, let's just how do you call this? Yung test whether the students have mastered our previous lesson. Okay. Then what's new? Okay. Writers write different texts such as articles and stories. Okay, with purposes in their minds. So we have here. Can you guess the purpose of the text below? So we have here. So as a teacher, no, you ask the students. You describe first. You ask the students about what they see in the visuals. For example, Marian, what do you see in the picture? In the first picture,
A newspaper, a coat,
okay, a newspaper. So what do you think is the purpose of the newspaper?
newspaper,
What is the purpose of the newspaper? It is meant to inform. Very good. All right. If you have additional questions later on, okay, you may also ask, for the students to get what to get additional points, right? Or they will gain points. Okay. So see, this is how gamification actually works. Okay, while using other teaching strategies. See, I'm using pictures. Okay, so graphic organizers maybe because students learn best when they see visuals, right, or pictures. Okay. What about the second question? The second picture. What is the purpose of the second picture? I only have two students. Sorry, Marian.
To entertain or
Okay.
to
What do you see in the picture, Marian?
So in the picture there is a short article that
Okay.
shows description of something.
Okay. So what is the purpose of the second picture?
It could be to describe or to entertain.
Okay. The answer is Very good. The answer is to describe. Okay, or yeah, you can ask additional questions. Okay, about this. All right, same thing with the next ones. Okay, we have to persuade, to narrate. Why did I introduce this? Because my lesson about short story will have something to do with this one, to narrate. Okay, and okay, and a writer has a purpose when he or she writes a text. Okay, the purpose is, the purpose of the writer is simply the reason why he or she writes a text. A writer writes with one of the following purposes. Now you begin to discuss the different purposes of why a writer writes. Okay, to describe yung kanina. So we have to entertain. Okay, here in the slide you may ask your students to read the the definition, for example. Okay, let me say the student. Um, tinitingnan ko yung mga yung how many yung mga students kung ilan yung nakapasok. Sorry. Okay, and this one. Okay. Okay, here you may ask, Erica, can you please read to me the purpose of um, narrating?
To narrate, the main purpose is to tell the story by developing a plot and characters.
Okay, and that you give a explanation about it. Okay, then this is a an introduction of what the lesson will is all about, which is elements of short story. Okay, so I made a use of gamification as an approach. Okay, I made use of graphic organizers, and in the discussion of the lesson about the elements of short story. Okay, I made use of what? I made use of a game-based learning. Okay, which is the game entitled "Who Wants to Be a Millionaire." Okay, so in this game, all students will actually play the game. Okay, um, this will test their knowledge about kung ano yung nalalaman nila tungkol sa short story, elements of short story, because that topic na discuss na, or yes, in grade 7, diba? Grade 7 to grade 9. This lesson as already discussed, and I believe that they already have idea of what are those elements of short story are. Okay. Okay. So this is how the game will be. Okay, so we have said earlier that a game-based learning is using a game as part of the learning process. So I'm using this game, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, to introduce the different elements of a short story. Okay. Okay, for the first question. Okay, everyone will answer the question. Okay, lahat sila sabay-sabay sasagot. Okay, the first question, can you please, then after that you may ask one student to read and answer the question. If for example, um I'm looking at the names of the students. Okay, Marion. Magaling si Marion eh. Okay. Can you please read and answer the first question?
What do you call of the time, place, and culture of where the story happens? A. Stage. B. Scene. C. Setting. D. Plot. The answer, I think, would be letter C. Setting.
The answer is letter. Very good, Marion. You got the answer correctly. Okay. So it's something like that. Paano papasok yung gamification? You may ask additional questions again. Okay. About about this one, and so forth and so on. Okay. Same thing with the rest of the items. Okay. I need to go fast. Okay. We only have 8 minutes left. All right. Same thing with the rest of the items. Okay. Ganun din until someone, kung sino yung who the student will be left, okay, to answer uh, the remaining questions. Okay, so here I'm using game-based learning, okay, um, while applying gamification approach in my class, okay, until the last question. Okay, now the next one will be, then after that, to further discuss the elements of short story, I'll be showing to my students the different visuals. Okay, because students learn best. I believe that students learn best when they are shown, pictures about the concept or idea being presented in the lesson. Okay, which will help them, understand better the topic. Okay, so we have here. I'll be flashing this one, and um, I'll be asking my students kung ano yung setting sa picture, kung ano yung time, all right, culture, place, and so forth. Okay? Para mas maintindihan nila lalo kung ano yung lesson na dinidiscuss natin. Okay? All right. Then you go to explaining the lesson, all right, yung definition of characterization. Siyempre, you ask your students to read, or to you ask their ideas of what do they know about protagonist, antagonist, okay, conflict, the plot, the point of view, the tone, what else, the mood, the theme, and and a theme. Okay, right. So that ends the discussion of the lesson. Okay, for on the elements of the short story. Now the students will be given activity. Okay, in a what's more. Okay, so sasabihin you have understood. So students, you have understood how a story is organized. Okay, understanding the organization of a story is essential because it may help you to achieve the highest level of comprehension. The next activity will take you to a better understanding of the elements of short story. So the student will be given a short story, or a story entitled "I was infected with coronavirus." All right, or they will be given a copy of the video also. Okay, about this one. So it's both video and text. Okay, so the story that you are about to read is about a woman who got infected by the coronavirus. It has an animated version, but for your convenience, the copy of the story has been made available for you. Okay, so as a teacher, I give my students a copy of the story. Okay, so now students, I want you to read a story and visualize the characters, setting, and events. Okay, and after reading the story, the students will accomplish this activity. Okay, so in online class we have day for online interaction. All right, we have a day for independent learning. So you can give this pag hindi na kaya ng time, you can give this, you can assign this as their performance test. Okay, and you as a teacher, you set deadline of submission. Okay, sa gamification natin kanina andun yung component na the student, they'll for example, they'll be given plus 10 if the student submitted their performance test on time. All right, so dyan papasok yung ating gamification. All right, so they'll be asked to answer this. Okay, their answers should be coming from them. Okay, kasi nandun sa component ko kanina yung bawal mag-cheat, bawal mag-plagiarize. So students, you're not allowed to cheat or share answers because you may gain, or you may lose points. Okay? So yung mga estudyante, aware sila, they are informed, no? They know na kapag nag-cheat sila or pag nag-plagiarize sila, they will lose points. So hindi nila gagawin yun for sure. All right? And all right, ito yung mga performance tests to be given. So the teacher just needs to set deadline for submission. All right. And then after that, maybe the teacher can ask, all right, class, do you have any question about the lesson for today? Okay, if there are points for for clarifications or questions, you may the teacher needs to to answer those. All right. Sorry, 57 minutes. Miss Jillian, thank you so much for being with me for the whole hour. I am now ready to entertain questions if there are any. Thank you to those
Thank
students
you
who
very much.
participated.
Now we will proceed to the question and answer portion. So for our participants here in the call, you may ask Sir your questions. If you have any, you may chat it in our chat box, or you may turn on your microphones and cameras so that Sir can answer your questions po.
Meron ako nabasa kanina. All right, I just want to answer this one, Miss Julie. Meron ako nabasa kanina sa comment section. Sir, what about I forgot the name na. What about those students under modular? Can this be applied? Yes, I have modular students also. So I also apply this. Pero it's the components would be different from those who attend online. Okay, so ang ginagawa ko, I modify how do you call it? I modify some of the components, okay, ng those students na fit lamang doon sa students under modular. Then what about yung sa leaderboard? All right, maybe you can inform them every time they submit their modules, okay? Um kung anong kung anong level, kung ilang points na yung na-acquire nila, kung anong level na sila, kung anong category na sila, right? So you just have to modify based on kung ano um yung components na gusto mong how do you call this? Component na gusto mong ma-achieve sa or ma-develop sa mga students. Kasi there are actually, gaya ng sabi ko, there are students who under modular na nagsasubmit ng modules, na binabalik yung modules na hindi kompleto. Alright? So maybe you can add in your component na the student will be given, for example, plus 30 if he or she will submit a complete how do you call this module if he or she answered items in the module completely. um are there questions?
For our teachers here in the call, in the Zoom, do you have any questions for Sir po?
Maybe this one, Miss Jillian, while they are maybe framing their
Sige po.
questions. um the we might think na baka yun nga sabi ko kanina, baka ginagawa lang ng mga students itong for example, baka nagko-comply lang sila, baka nagpapasa lang sila dahil merong kapalit, right? Merong rewards, merong incentives, right? Gaya ng sabi ko, yes, that's actually the initial reaction, the response of the students, di ba? Meron tayong tinatawag na intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Okay, so that actually serves them as motivation to to comply. Okay, but as they go along, 'di ba, kailangan nating i-emphasize sa mga bata na hindi lamang hindi dapat yung habol nila ay incentives, yung rewards, okay? But we should emphasize yung value of that they need to be responsible, na kailangang gawin nila yun para somehow magkaroon ng development sa kanilang behavior. 'Di ba? Kung hindi sila nakapagpasa ng nakaka-attend ng online class before, kusa sila mag-attend ng online class, or hindi sila nakapag-submit ng performance test before, kusa sila magsasubmit ng performance test or classwork.
Thank you very much, Sir. We have a question from Sir Joseph. What inspiration and advice can you give both to students or share to our pupils and students to keep them soaring high in the struggle of COVID-19 pandemic?
All right. Yes, this one, again, sabi ko, our setup is very challenging. All right. So as a teacher, di ba, uh, our students, the teachers are, we are the source of, inspiration from our students. So I think as teachers, we have to look for good strategies. We have to design strategies. We have to design how do you call this? Design games para mas motivated, para mas engaged ang ating yung mga students, right? Especially sa online class, very challenging. You may see students who get bored, di ba? In an online class. So, um, why not use strategies? Why not utilize kasi pag bago yung ginagamit natin, ma catch yung attention ng mga bata. Parang they will get inspired, they will get motivated na mag-participate if you introduce them if you introduce them something new. All right? Um we teachers should design yung games or materials na sa tingin natin ay makakatulong sa mga bata.
Thank you very much, sir. That's all the questions we have for now. Any last reminders to our viewers for today po?
Thank you po. Again, I just want to emphasize this, or I just want to share this. Sabi ni um, Secretary Leonor Briones, I hope that we will all be challenged to continually do what we can to bring um, and create innovative and daring methods of teaching so that we can bring education to all our learners. In other words, as educators, excuse me. All right, ito yung parang question kanina, right? As educators, we should explore various new strategies and pioneer innovative ways to motivate and engage our learners. Okay, gaya ng sabi ko, pag bago when we introduce something new to our students, 'di ba, nagkakaroon sila ng interest. They get motivated. It catches their attention. So as teachers, we should ask ourselves, what can we give to our students? Okay. And with that, I want to thank Vibal again for the opportunity. I just want a special thanks to Mr. Pakpako, to Miss Dadero, to Miss Mamba, to Miss Ramos, and to all my colleagues in Makati High School. Maraming salamat po sa support. I would like also to greet my parents that are watching all the way from Cabagan, Isabela, Jaime and Lolit Buraga, and my sisters who are also watching. Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, sir. There's one more question, if it's okay, if
Okay po.
you can answer from Miss Erica Fangonilo. Sir, what application do you use in computing learners' points? Medyo mahirap po kasi mag-track kapag maraming learners. Do
You
you
can,
use
sorry.
LMS po?
You can just use, may yung easiest way easiest way o ginagamit ko din ay gumagamit lang ako ng Excel. All right? Then every time, for example, in one class, kung sino yung mga students na nakakuha ng ganitong points, I take down. All right? Then I enter that in the Excel para automatically ano na siya. Kasi weekly, I have to update my class kung ilang points na na-accumulate nila, kung ano yung current standing, and kung anong category or level sila nandoon.
Thank you very much, sir. There we have it. In behalf of Pibal Group Incorporated, I would like to thank our speaker for today for this very interactive and insightful demo teaching session. It is an honor to have you with us today, sir. And also, we would like to thank our participants that are here, Miss Erica Fangonlilo, Mr. Joseph Odelon Hermitaño, and Miss Marian that already left our Zoom call. All thanks to you for your continuous patronage to our daily learning session. Don't forget to register to get your e-certificate of participation. We also encourage you to subscribe and watch our official Vival Facebook and YouTube channel. Muli, maraming salamat at magandang araw sa ating